On April 1st, 2026, four human beings did something no one had done since 1972. They left Earth, and they flew around the moon. Not a robot, not a probe, not a simulation. Four people, in a capsule, 230,000 miles from home. For 10 days, they looked back at Earth the way only 24 humans in all of history had ever done before. And when they splashed down in the Pacific Ocean on April 10th, the world had changed. This is the story of Artemis II, and why what just happened is so much bigger than most people realize. Let's rewind to December 1972. Astronaut Gene Cernan climbs the ladder of the Apollo 17 lunar module, looks back at the surface of the moon one last time, and says goodbye. That was the last time a human being stood on another world. 54 years passed. Think about that. We went from the Wright brothers' first flight to landing on the moon in just 66 years, and then we stopped. Not because we couldn't go back, but because the Cold War was over. The race had been won, and Congress kept cutting NASA's budget. For more than 5 decades, we sent robots, rovers, orbiters, probes. They did incredible science, but no human set foot beyond low Earth orbit. An entire generation grew up never seeing a moon launch, until now. 4 people were chosen to fly Artemis II: Commander Reed Wiseman, pilot Victor Glover, mission specialist Christina Koch, and Canadian Space Agency astronaut Jeremy Hansen. Each one carries a piece of history. Victor Glover became the first black astronaut to fly to the moon's vicinity. Jeremy Hansen, the first Canadian to leave Earth's orbit. Commander Wiseman, a Navy test pilot and former ISS commander, called the mission the most important thing I've ever been asked to do. They named their Orion capsule Integrity. Not Discovery, not Eagle, Integrity. Because this mission wasn't just about going fast or going far. It was about doing it right. Making sure everything works. The heat shield, the life support, the navigation, before NASA sends the next crew to actually land on the moon. These 4 astronauts were, in a very real sense, the test pilots for humanity's next chapter. On April 1st, 2026, at 6:35 p.m. Eastern Time, the Space Launch System rocket ignited at Launch Complex 39B at Kennedy Space Center. The same launch complex where Apollo missions once thundered into the sky. The SLS is the most powerful rocket NASA has ever built. More thrust than the Saturn V that carried Apollo astronauts to the moon. 4 RS-25 engines originally built for the space shuttle, burning over 700,000 gallons of liquid hydrogen and liquid oxygen. The ground shook for miles. People lined the beaches of Florida. Millions watched live online. And as the rocket cleared the tower and arced over the Atlantic Ocean, something shifted. This wasn't CGI. This wasn't a movie. This was real. Less than 24 hours after launch, the crew completed the translunar injection burn, a precise rocket firing that sets a spacecraft on course for the moon. And from one of Orion's windows, an astronaut captured an image of Earth from deep space. Auroras visible top right and bottom left, Venus glowing in the corner, and Earth slowly eclipsing the sun. It's the kind of photo that makes you feel very small, and very lucky to be alive right now. Most people don't realize how strange the far side of the moon actually is. It's not the dark side, that's a myth. It gets just as much sunlight as the near side. But we never see it from Earth, because the moon is tidally locked. The same face always points toward us. Here's what's wild. The far side of the moon looks completely different from the side we see. The near side, the face we've stared at for thousands of years, is covered in dark, flat plains called maria. Ancient lava flows that filled massive craters billions of years ago. That's why we see a man in the moon. Those dark patches are dried lava seas. The far side, almost none of that. It's almost entirely highlands. Craters upon craters upon craters. Rough, ancient, unforgiving. Scientists still don't fully understand why the two sides are so different. One leading theory says a second, smaller moon once existed, and slowly crashed into the far side billions of years ago, merging, piling up, creating that thick, tortured crust we see today. We've known about this mystery for decades, but no human had ever seen it with their own eyes, until Artemis II. When the crew flew around the far side, they entered a communication blackout. No contact with Earth, no GPS, no radio, just 4 humans alone, farther from home than anyone had been in over half a century. 12 minutes of total silence. In mission control in Houston, the room went quiet. No telemetry, no voice, nothing. And then, static, a signal, and Reed Wiseman's voice cutting through. Houston, integrity is dough. On April 6th, as the spacecraft swung around the far side, the crew captured an image of Earth setting over the moon's curved limb. The Orion Basin, one of the largest impact craters in the solar system, sat below them. Ancient, cratered, silent. Reed Wiseman later said the view of Earth from that distance gave him a physical feeling in my chest I wasn't prepared for. When you see our entire planet, every ocean, every city, every person you've ever loved, fitting inside a window no bigger than a porthole, it changes something in you. On April 10, 2026, the Orion capsule splashed down in the Pacific Ocean off the coast of San Diego. 10 days, 1.4 million miles traveled, and all 4 crew members safe. The recovery ships were waiting. Navy divers jumped in immediately, and one by one, the astronauts were lifted out of the capsule, blinking in the California sunlight, breathing real air, feeling real gravity after nearly a week and a half in space. Victor Glover later said, "We went to the moon, and we brought it back with us." But here's the thing most news channels glossed over. This wasn't the destination. It was the proof of concept. NASA is now targeting 2028 for the first actual lunar landing, when astronauts will transfer from the Orion capsule to a commercial lunar lander and descend to the surface of the moon. The first woman, the first person of color, setting foot on the moon's south pole